first chorus. I'm gonna...
Hello folks, my name is Mark, and this is Why I Hate the World. And I'm sure by this point that you've all heard the news on the Supreme Court has upheld the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, and this was upheld in a 5-4 decision. So, before we get started, the first thing I want to say is fuck you! Now that the important stuff is out of the way, it's good to see that millions of people in the country will finally be able to get health care. You know, especially the people out there who need it, the sick and the elderly and people with pre-existing conditions, you know. And if you've been following the debate, then you're probably familiar with all the arguments for and against it, you know, and but it seems that the biggest problem that people have, the conservatives had with Obamacare, is that the idea of the individual mandates, right, which is just basically, you know, you're mandated to go obtain health care, and if you don't get it by 2014, then you have to pay a fine, right, which in this particular case, the Supreme Court interpreted that as a tax, right, like it wasn't held up with the Commerce Clause, because a lot of people thought that, they thought it would be, but rather it was held up under the tax provision, you know. So essentially it goes like this, you know, the Supreme Court isn't allowed, government isn't allowed to tell you that you have to buy something, but they are allowed to tax you, right? So that's how it was held up. And anyway, personally, you know, I didn't really thought the tax was that, you know, much of a problem. I mean, it's a $695 fine, right? But that's not exactly it. I mean, the first year, 2014, it's a $95 fine, okay, which is like nothing. I mean, $100, come on, right? By 2016, it goes up to $695 or 2.5% of your income, which that might be kind of a bitch, you know, like, but it depends on how rich you are, like whichever one is more or something, right? So yeah, you know, that might be a problem, 2.5% of my income taken out of my taxes. I might not like that, you know, but by that point, there's going to be all the other shit that, you know, Obamacare is going to be in full force, you know, all of the subsidies and all of the healthcare, you know, insurance, what do they call them, the exchanges where you can find like the cheapest ones and stuff like that, and you know, and anybody who makes, I think it's something like 400% of the poverty line, you know, even by that point, it's like you get subsidies. So like for a family of 4, you know, that comes to something like $90,000, you know, which is like, so basically it's poor people. It's not gonna disproportionately affect poor people, which is awesome, right? Not really. I mean, you know, they'll be like if you make less than 133% of the federal poverty line, then you're in Medicaid. So it's like, you know, so basically if you're fucking homeless, it's free, which is like, that's fucking good, you know. If you're really, really broke, you know, if you're working minimum wage and shit like that, healthcare is essentially going to be free for you, you know. And you know, I mean, there's a lot of really awesome things, you know, it's really too much to go over in this video, but I think it's worth it, you know. I think that, that paying a fine or a tax if you don't partake of this is actually, like, the good things that we get from it actually make it worth it. And actually, I think that, you know, two provisions in this that I actually support that I think are worth the entire thing, and those two things are, an insurance company has to accept you if you have a pre-existing condition, and they can't drop you if you get sick. Those are like my two big like things. You know, I've spoken a lot about my grandmother on this channel. You know, because I have a grandmother who, like, her entire life never had fucking insurance because she has muscular dystrophy, right? She never had insurance her entire life, and it wasn't because nobody would It's not because she couldn't afford it, right? Because they made plenty of money. It was because no private insurance company would sell her insurance. So people don't make that, like they don't understand that. They go, well, how come she didn't buy insurance? It's because nobody would sell it to her. Okay, it's not because she didn't like make, because they couldn't afford it. Nobody would give it to her, nowhere, for any price, right? Because somebody like my grandmother is a guaranteed loss. Okay, because she's going to have to use the insurance. All right, that's the problem with private insurance. All right, and it's not just health insurance; it's any insurance. It's like, there's all kinds of like insurance. I've been meaning to do a video on insurance in a long time. Like insurance is like the biggest fucking scam there is. I don't even know who the hell thought it up, but whoever thought it up is like one of those genius assholes. Like. I mean, it's a model. This is how private insurance works for pretty much any like industry in the country. Essentially, it's a model that goes like this: I pay you a shitload of money for years and years and years, and then the minute that I come to collect on that money, you like kick me out and get the fuck out of Dodge. And it's basically a scam. It's like, give me all your money and I'll help you out. But when the time comes that you need to file a claim, they do everything they can to not fucking help you out, to not pay the claim, and that's how auto insurance works. That's how every fucking in medical insurance and everything. And it's like, it might not be that big of a deal if it's your car, but medical insurance, these are people's lives we're talking about here, and I think just getting rid of those two things make it worth it. I mean, I don't really understand how anybody can sit there and defend these kinds of practices, especially like the fucking drop kick fucking sick people out the window bit. Like, how the fuck does that work? Like, is there any other business out there that we would tolerate this from? Like, say like I own a fucking sandwich shop, right? And you come in and you go like, yeah, I want to get like a 6-inch fucking sub with chicken and like blah 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 blah, and so like fucking you pay me the money, right? And then when you come over to the register to get your sandwich, I kick you out of the store, right? And not give you a refund. Like, would you put up with that shit? Like, how does it then? Why is it okay if a fucking health insurance company does that, but not a sandwich shop? What if your fucking car insurance did that? What if fucking like you get in an accident, you had your insurance for 10 years, you've never been in a fucking accident, and then you get in an accident, and then the car insurance says, yeah, we're not going to cover that. In fact, we're not going to cover you at all. We're canceling your insurance. Fuck you. What kind of, and you have no recourse. And the only thing you can do is sue them. Like, what the fuck are you going to do? They're a fucking insurance company with millions and millions of dollars, all right? What is like your fucking minimum wage working ass going to do about it? Nothing, okay? This puts an end to that. All right, and anybody who is going to sit here and say that, like, I think it's fucking unconstitutional and immoral, fuck you. All right, I can't under fucking stand that. It's like, but that's the thing. That's the thing. The fucking conservatives and the Republicans in this country, right, are defending these kinds of practices, right? These kinds of bullshit, fucking, fucking fraudulent practices. Right? Not for any fucking reason. The reason is because they want to deny the Obama administration a policy victory. Okay? That's what this whole thing is fucking really about. It's not really about the mandate, right? Because the fucking individual mandate was dreamt up by the Heritage Foundation, okay? The mandate is central. It's a central feature of fucking Obamacare in Massachusetts, all right? They are the ones who thought this shit up in the first place. The mandate is like the brainchild of the fucking conservatives, right? And the minute that they, the Democrats actually used it, right, now that all of a sudden they're all fucking against it. It's bullshit, okay? It's complete, utter bullshit. And they're doing it to deny him a fucking, policy victory, all right? I mean, that's how fucked up the country is right now. That we have an entire political party that, they're defending the rights of insurance companies to rip people off, right? I mean, it's so that they can, like, basically use it to get elected. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with these people, okay? I don't get it. I mean, and that's really what it's all about. It's the same thing with fucking these people and the fucking birthers and the fucking tenthers and the fucking oath keepers and, the Tea Party assholes and the fucking Republican dickheads in Congress who won't fucking pass anything, right? These people don't care about, they don't really give a shit about what happens to the country. Fuck the country, all right? The country is falling apart because of these fucking people. They would rather destroy the country than to like make the slightest bit of fucking compromise. All right, they would rather have the entire thing burned down than like, you know, than to let like, you know, their political opponents like get like the slightest bit of like a policy victory, and it's fucking disgusting. I mean, these are like people in Congress right now, you know, like fucking look at Mitt Romney. The first thing he gets out and he goes, the first thing I'll do on the first day I'm elected is repeal this. Right. You know, never mind all the people out there that are actually getting health care for the first times in their fucking lives. You know, I don't have fucking health insurance, all right? I can't even fucking afford it. The insurance offered by my job is a joke, okay? It's like insurance in name only. Even if I bought it, I'd be wasting money, all right? Because it doesn't fucking cover anything. So, you know what? I'm waiting until 2014 until I buy it. You know why? Because then they can't fucking, like, you know, they can't turn me down, right? Mitt Romney would undo all that shit, okay? And, you know, there's something really wrong in this fucking... You know, it's like when your elected officials, right, the people that you elect, would rather let their constituents, like, die of cancer, right, than to, like, vote for a healthcare reform platform whose genesis came from their own fucking party. You know, that is like a sign that something is fucked up in this country, right? And it's because of them. Okay, they're the ones that are causing this shit. Okay, you know, when people say this stuff like, you know, they go the parties are both the same. You know, it's just one half of the whatever. The two parties are not the fucking same. This vote, you know, this fight over healthcare proves it. Okay, one side, the conservative Republicans, are fucking this country up. The other side are actually trying to do something to help people. So just remember that when, you know, November comes, because, you know, fuck these people. That's all there is to it. And thank God, you know, God bless the fucking Supreme Court of the United States.